Hi, class. My name is Anna Hopper,
Taylor Jordan.
And Jennifer Wilson.
and we're going to be presenting on the movie Scarface, which focuses on Rule of Professional Conduct 2.1.
As Anna said, for our presentation, we're looking at Al Pacino in the movie Scarface. And we're taking you all the way back to 1983. And yes, I'm doing the recap because neither Taylor nor Anna were here yet in 1983. The movie opens with a scrolling narrative explaining that Castro has opened the Cuban harbor at Mariel to allow some of his citizens to leave the island. We then see video of boats, and according to the story, there are 3,000 boats loaded with immigrants leaving Cuba, headed to the United States, specifically to make land in Florida. The story is that Castro is allowing 125,000 of his islanders to join family that they already have that are living here in America. However, we also learn that Castro has required the boat owners to include some of the criminals from his jails among their family that they are carrying back to the U.S. There are an estimated 25,000 Cubans with criminal records coming to America, and among them we meet Tony Montana.
Tony Montana came to Miami and quickly claimed stake in the drug trade there. In a short amount of time, he climbed his way to the top by murdering anyone who tried to get in his way. He used a local bank to launder his drug earnings and was eventually caught by federal agents while counting approximately $1.3 million in cash. Tony was charged with money laundering and tax evasion.
Tony makes a record bond for $5 million. And in a short scene following, he meets a lawyer named George Sheffield, who was the top dog and quite the scumbag in Miami. Sheffield advises Tony that for an amount of $100,000 in a check and $300,000 in cash, he can get him off on a conspiracy charge.
Give me a check for 100 grand, plus 300 in cash, and I guarantee you walk on a conspiracy charge. But they're going to come back at us on a tax evasion, and they'll get it. What am I looking at? 5 years, you'll be out in 3. Maybe.
Rule of Professional Conduct 2.1 in its entirety says, in representing a client, a lawyer shall exercise independent professional judgment and render candid advice. In rendering advice, a lawyer may refer not only to law, but to other considerations such as moral, economic, social, and political factors that may be relevant to the client's situation. In our presentation, we want to specifically address the part that says a lawyer shall exercise independent professional judgment and render candid, meaning truthful and straightforward, advice.
Sheffield knows he's dealing with a potential dangerous client who is used to getting what he wants, and if he doesn't, he gets a bad temper. The attorney realizes he has the obligation to be straightforward with Tony. He told Tony he will get sentenced to 5 years and he will serve at least 3 because he is caught on video by the feds.
After watching the film, specifically the scene when Tony meets with his attorney, we determined that Sheffield did not violate Rule of Professional Conduct 2.1. Sheffield rendered candid advice as he explained to Tony that they, being the feds, would come after him on tax evasion charges and that he would be found guilty and sentenced to jail time. He also tells Tony that he would walk on a conspiracy charge, which we determined was unethical based on Rule 7.1, that is not included in this assignment. Although attorneys have experiences with sentencing matters, assuring someone of any result is never a good idea. However, as to Rule 2.1, we agree that Sheffield was acting